Hello there, and welcome to the Doctor Who Target World podcast, a podcast that deals with all things related to Doctor Who and anything media-wise that I am interested in. So please come in. Hello there! Welcome to this new Doctor Who Target World podcast. This week we're going to discuss The Keeper of Traken by Terence Dick's book, an audiobook by Jeffrey B was reading it. It's still Terence Dick, so it'll be the audiobook I'll be discussing, and also the 4 TV episodes. Plus, we will be doing all the normal things, which is what I've been watching, the news, and of course, telling you what we'll be doing next. So, come in. So, what have I been watching? If I haven't mentioned already, I'm going to be also doing Masterful, the Big Finish anniversary thing for the Master. So, what have I been watching, people? Quite a bit of drama as we're in lockdown here again in the UK. I started with the absolutely amazing It's a Sin. If you haven't seen it yet, you're missing an absolute beautiful treat. Russell T Davies at his absolute best. It's beautiful and extremely emotionally draining. Episode 3 and episode 5, I cried the whole episode, to be honest, and I felt down for a couple of days afterwards. Well, that's a sign of a really good emotional drama that takes it out of you completely. It's about 4 gay people come to London. They've all been in small places for. There's like one from Wales, one from the Isle of Wight, and it just shows their life. Unfortunately, in the 80s, contraception wasn't the main thing in the gay scene, so AIDS was rampant, and it just has a very good ending, and I won't spoil the ending, but the ending is extremely emotional, and Keely Hawes is absolutely fantastic from start to finish. Tracy Ann Oban is brilliant. Sean Dooley's great. There's just so many good actors in it, and it's brilliant. And Stephen Fry is fantastic as well in that. So what's that? That's well worth watching. That's on 4OD to watch all the episodes there. I watched Trace, which is a really good crime drama. It was on BBC One, written by Val McDermott. You probably know he is a really good crime writer, and it's about a woman in. It's Scotland. It is Dundee. Just went out my head from it there, but it's not filmed in Dundee. Just in case you wondered, because I have a very good friend who was astonished to find out that it wasn't in Dundee. It's about a woman whose mum was very nastily murdered and was never explained why, and she wants to know why. Basically, it's really good. It's well worth a watch. It was 4 really no, it's more than 4, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 6 episodes actually, and it's really good. It's got the actor also in from Line of Duty, so it's well worth a watch. Then last week, because it was on all week, I watched The Drowned, which is a really good drama off Channel 5 with Jill Halfpenny in, about a mum who thinks their son was drowned in a lake, but it turns out, we don't know, I haven't finished watching it, I've still got 2 episodes to go, but it looks like the child didn't drown, and it's all going to spiral out of control. As I said, it's got Jill Halfpenny, and it's got Rupert Penry Jones in quite a dark role for him, because he normally does suave, nice people, but he's quite dark in this. It's very, very good. Of course, for a bit of fun, I've been watching the 10th season of Death in Paradise. If you've never seen it, it's an English cop on a Jamaican island. It's nice TV. It's nothing out of the ordinary, but it's nice and comforting. It's a good coffee cake, basically, in drama form. It's great fun, though. What else have I been watching? Started watching Bridgerton on Netflix. I need to finish that. That looks very good. And I want to watch the Queen's Gambit this week. That's the plan for that. I also want to start Mank, which is the David Fincher film on there, and also the new Paul Greengrass film that looks very good. I need to do that because I expect those 2 will both be up for the Oscars in April. Fun-wise, it was the Super Bowl weekend just gone by, so I watched that. It was brilliant, good fun. Also, I say my treats at the moment, stuff what's rubbish TV, what you watch it because it's fun, would be celebrity cooking at home thing, which is great fun. It's celebrities. So I hope you can't hear that, so I'm getting Twitter stuff coming there. As I was saying, celebrities cook at home is basically great fun, and also what else? Sorry, what's it? Oh yeah, Kirsty and Phil. That's Kirsty Allsop and Phil Smith's thing on Channel 4, where they either list or don't list their houses. All good fun. So I've been watching all that. That's all good. And right, because it's the 50th anniversary of The Master this year, I decided to do, for the first one, I'm going to do a few more Master books as well before we get to March, which is really busy. If you already know, there are 4 new Target books out in March, and I should be doing all of them for the podcast. We have today Keeper of Traken by, the book is by Terrance Dicks. Audiobook is read by Jeffrey Beavers, who of course is the Master. And I think the 4 TV episodes were directed by John Black, and the script was finally done by, is it Christopher H. Bigme? I hope I've pronounced that right. Yeah, so we'll get to the audiobook and that in a minute. Let's start with the TV episodes. The TV episodes are absolutely fantastic. They still look brilliant today, and it's 40 years old. I should know because it's from 1981, and that's my year. So I apologise if you can hear Twitter things coming. I'm getting occasional Twitter things coming, and I had problems with my phone earlier, so I'm not going to basically lock it in any way, so I can't get back to voiceover. So anyway, so it's done by Christopher H. Bigme, the thing is, the episode I mean, and the script is an interesting one because it originally wasn't planning to have the Master in the script, and the original script I went on holiday to Corfu, and while I was away, John Turner basically went, I'm having the Master in. Let's have the Master in. It's a great idea. So the whole script I'd rewritten. That's why it's rather good. I love the Art Deco feel to it, and the costumes look stunning. Even on the Blu-ray, which is really difficult to get hold of now, but it looks stunning. And yeah, it stands out well. There's good scenes between Tom Baker and all the sort of subjects, and I like how Nissa's father is really good, played by Anthony Newley, of course, became the Master himself eventually at the end of this episode, before we get to Legopolis, where he completely takes over. And yeah, it's a really good episode. It's all 4 quite good pacing. There wasn't any what dragged. Maybe episode 2 a little bit, but because there's a lot of sort of political stuff going back and forth for this. I just can't think of the character's name, the main woman who's sort of taken over by the Master. She's brilliantly acted. And I love the bits where she has red eyes, and then they shoot laser eyes, and it's done with these fantastic makeup tricks. You couldn't see for a whole day. It was brilliant. It looks good. It looks stunning still because the Blu-ray quality is brilliant. Good writing from Christopher H. Bigme. I'm actually surprised, but Terrance Dicks did the book, because he has done Target books, and they're normally really dry. So I'm actually quite glad what Terrance Dicks did the book of this one. If you've read Legopolis or Castrovel, which are the Christopher H. Bigme, and I think there's another one, they are very scientific and very dry. So I'm quite glad Terrance did the book for this. We'll get to that in a bit. Episode-wise, yeah, they've got good pace. I think it's good to see that only having one companion works. The fact it's only Adric, and eventually goes to 3. We've only got Adric, and then Nissa in Legopolis works. There's lots of things for Adric to do. There's all the science stuff that gets involved with Nissa. Yeah, I think it works really well. Jeffrey Beavers, even though he doesn't really act a lot in it, you just hear his beautiful voice. It's fantastic. His voice is fabulous as the Master. And as I said, he's in Masterful, which we'll get to in a bit and discuss that. His voice has been great as the Master. Big Finish have used him really well. He also reads lots of great audiobooks. I recommend either of his 2 books he's written on CD from, I think they're from Phantom Films, you can get them. Or affordable, I think they're on Audible as well. But yeah, his voice is brilliant. Yeah, I think it's a really good 4 episodes. It doesn't drag, it doesn't flag, and there's some really good special effects for the time, especially in the bit with the eyes and the wind machines and all that sort of bits. There's some really cool bits. I think it works. So we now come to the audiobook, which was written by Terrance Dicks and read by Jeffrey Beavers. On one hand, I think it's a good audiobook because I think it's a good one written by Terrance Dicks. I'm quite glad what Christopher H. Bigme didn't do the book for this, because his ones have been ridiculously dry in the past. The ones that connect with this, which are Legopolis and Castrovalva, he has done, and they're really dry. I have struggled with those in the past for the podcasts I did before, and I think it's time we did the other 2 as well, but I have struggled with them, basically. So this is really good. It's got good pace, it's got good characters, and it expands on some bits what didn't really get expanded in the TV episodes. Like the whole bit with the Doctor having to put the numbers in to stop the holy, the thing from kicking off, basically. Sorry if you're hearing Twitter. I apologise for that. Um, I hope you can't hear that. I hope I'm only hearing the tweets come in. It is actually related to Doctor Who's stuff. But anyway, the audiobook is great because it expands on a lot of stuff. It makes scenes more expandable, and I think it's a good audiobook. The thing, unfortunately, lets it down is that Jeffrey Beaver's master voice is brilliant. His voice for the master is great. But his Tom Baker and his Adric voice and his Sarah and any other companion voice is terrible. They all sound like him, unfortunately. There is no definition, and it does get a bit wearing after a while. I'm quite glad it wasn't that long an audiobook. The soundscape is brilliant. The music is really good. The special effects in it are fabulous. So that makes you want to listen to it because they're really good, and they build up the tension really well. And I think that works. So I think it's worth, if you've got a spare Audible credit, getting it that way. So I would, as I say, score wise, I would probably give the book a 7 because for the special effects, and I'd probably give the TV episodes an 8. I think because they are really good and they stand up well after 40 years. If they weren't good, I wouldn't have been enjoying them this morning, which is what I was, and I just hope that's not going through. God, the Twitter is alive tonight. So anyway, score-wise, it's an 8 for the TV episodes, and probably a 6.5 or 7 for the audiobook. So I really, as I said, if you've got an Audible credit to spend and you want a Doctor Who fix, then get it. Otherwise, I wouldn't get it. So, what has been going on in the news? What's been going on? Season 13 of Doctor Who is being filmed, even with COVID sort of trying to stop all acting while it is being filmed. And yeah, I also want to discuss Masterful in a bit if you haven't got it. I'm going to put that at the end of the news now. I will give you a full review of Masterful as well while we're here. I recommend getting Masterful. That came out in January. Big Finish have announced a couple of things. They've announced one, that there's a new unit coming. That's going to be Unit Nemesis coming out. I think it starts coming out in November with Gemma Redgrave, who is fabulous as Kate Stewart, plus Osgood as well. And also a young new Harry Sullivan, with the new actor playing Harry Sullivan, who you will hear in Big Finish's thing that's coming out. I think it's this month, Return of the Cybermen. Plus Eric Roberts is back next month in March as his master. His own box set up, which will have Vienna Salvatore in it as the bounty hunter, probably after the master. We'll find out. That's definitely on my shopping list. Plus, Volume 2 of Stranded is coming out. Also related to the podcast, we have 4 new Target World books coming in March. We have, if I listen to my order, we have Dalek by Rob Shearman, and the audiobook's going to be read by Nick Briggs. We have Doctor Who and the Crimson Terror by Mark Gatiss, read by Dan Starkey. We have Doctor Who the movie, book written by Gary Russell and read by Dan Starkey, and hopefully, because I can't seem to find it on Audible, hopefully a audiobook of The Witchfinders, which is also coming out as a book. So you can enjoy all those as a Kindle book, whatever you want to get. Forbidden Planet of selling all the books. And yeah, I think that is the news from the Doctor Who world at the moment. As I said, the rumourville has gone into meltdown, even though Jodie hasn't officially announced that she's leaving Doctor Who. The top favourite for that is now Chris Marshall. My niggle with that is what he's too much like Matt Smith. So he'll try and do comedy plus seriousness. So you'll probably just get a repeat of Matt Smith, but we'll see what happens. I think it's a bit unfair because he hasn't announced that he's officially leaving. It is all rumour mill basically still. And I will get into the debate once it's official. That's my feelings on it so far. So, a little bit of an extra here. As it's the 50th anniversary of The Master being out, Big Finish decided to do their own little celebration and called it Masterful. An 8 CD, if you've got the collector's edition, which I have, I got it as a download, or you can get it on 8 CDs from bigfinish.com. So that involves a 3-hour first thing, drama, called Masterful. This is the 3-hour thing. And in that 3-hour thing, God, you get a treat. The story's not the greatest, but it's worth listening just for the interaction, because you get Jeffrey Beavers, Milo Parker, I've got to get in the right order, Jeffrey Beavers, Milo Parker, Alex McQueen, Mark Gatiss, Robert basically John Coleshaw as Chameleon, but being Robert Delgado, and also you get Mark Gatiss, you get Michelle Gomez, and also for the first time John Sims, plus Alex McQueen as well, which I noticed I share a birthday with Alex McQueen on the 2nd of December, which is great. And it's this big eventful thing where the Master thinks he's won, but he hasn't really. And you also get the great Katie Manning being Joe Grant. It is fabulous from start to finish. But it's worth getting the collector's edition for the extras. You get 2 really great short stories from the Master with Big Finish Handout for, read by Jeffrey Beavers. And then you get into this absolute triumph called The Terror of the Master, a 3rd Doctor story read by John Coleshaw. Now, John Coleshaw is one of the best impressionists out there. He can do lots of different things. So he can do a fabulous 3rd Doctor's performance, which he does, and then he can do his really great Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, which, to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of to begin with. I thought it wasn't right, and then he's just got better and better, and it's absolutely brilliant now. So it's worth it just for that. It's quite expensive, it's worth it just for that. Plus you get an hour's worth of all their extras, so it is so good, and it's a fair tribute to the Master, because the Master is 50 years old this year. I'm seriously looking forward to the new Blu-ray what's coming out in March for the first season of Katie Manning's time and the Master's time in the Doctor Who world, which will be brilliant. So looking forward to that. So next time I'm thinking of doing Claws of Axos to continue the Master theme before we get into the Manic March for all those new Target books. And if you think that's a good idea, then let me know on the Twitter, which is Who Target. Or if you think there should be another Master book I'm doing, because it is another Terrence Dicks. But he seems to be the main man who did all the sort of early Master things. But let me know on the Twitter. And thanks so much for following the podcast on Twitter. More people the merrier who listen to it would be fabulous. And we thank you for that. So goodbye.